Welcome to the Learning Lab Player Edition. This is our weekly space where Mahjong players explore strategies, ask questions, and build confidence through live discussion and gameplay demonstrations. Today, we're going to be talking about straddling. My question for you is, how long do you straddle categories? Or how long do you straddle hands? That is the question for today. I want to say thank you for being here with me. I want to say thank you for sharing about MAHJLIFE. And also I want to give a shout out to our moderators who will be helping monitor the chat today. Oh, we have a new channel member as well, Jane. Welcome to Fanatics. Say hi in chat and let me know how long you straddle. Does it depend? And if it does depend on, what does it depend on? Let's open up the conversation, and then we're going to do a gameplay with commentary where I demonstrate how I do it. Because I do straddle, I'll straddle categories and I'll straddle hands. Another way to think about this is that it's playing adaptive, because you're waiting to see. You don't actually pick a hand yet. And sometimes you don't even pick a category. You just gather. Let me know how, or if you have any sort of guidelines that you follow, and we'll discuss. I'm going to pull up I Love Maj, get it ready so that we can do the gameplay with commentary if we don't have any comments. Before we get to that though, I just want to share that I am an affiliate partner at I Love Maj, and if you use MAHJLIFE as the promo code, you'll get an additional week in your trial. Usually they have a 2-week trial, so you'll get 3 weeks. And if you decide to subscribe, I would get a small commission. And for that, I thank you. All right, so I'm going to share how or what sort of guidelines I use when I make the decision to pick a hand eventually. I pick a hand eventually. I don't pick a hand right away unless it's staring me in the face. That would be one of the variables to consider. If you look at your dealt hand and you see that you have lots of tiles for a given hand with no gaps, I would go for it, even if it means picking that hand, but it's got to be significant. I would say, let's say 8 tiles, no gaps, something like that. It's very rare that it happens. Usually I pick a category to focus on. Sometimes it's 2, depending on the tiles. So for example, if I have a lot of evens, I might consider that category. But if I have 3s and 5s, I might consider consecutive run. And I'll wait to see what tiles come in and then go for the category that uses most of my tiles. And then if there's a multiple in there somewhere, pair pung kong, I'll choose the category that will leverage the multiple. Because in American Mah Jongg, that is the strength of the hand, multiples. Every hand on the card requires multiples, and most of them require pung kong. So those carry more weight than singles and pairs. So that's the guideline I use for categories. And then if I'm in between hands, I go for hands that are the strongest option. So if I'm between 2 or even 3, I'll pick the strongest option and let the other ones go. And typically the strongest option will have no gaps. Or maybe there is a gap and it's using most of the multiples. It's very situational, which is why we're going to do gameplay with commentary. Since we don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and do this gameplay with commentary along the way. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the live stream chat. And if you're watching the repost, please put them in the video description below. And one more thing I want to share is that the Learning Lab, if you don't already know, is a YouTube version of a private Facebook group that we have right now called the Learning Lab, #MAHJLIFE. If you use Facebook, consider joining that group so that you can ask questions in a safe space. Only vetted instructors will be answering questions about the rules. And there's lots of conversation going on there about strategy, skills, and even sportsmanship and etiquette. So please consider joining the Learning Lab at Facebook. Just type Learning Lab #MAHJLIFE and you will find it. I believe there's a link in the video description below too. And there's a link in the video description to a wiki article where I am documenting these episodes with the focus. So if you've missed previous episodes, you can go to that wiki article and binge watch videos and build your skills. So let me share my screen and we'll get started with gameplay. Okay, here is I Love Maj. At the top, if you're not aware of the Play game Launchpad, this is where you play with people. They do have another version available, Siamese Mahjong, which is 2 players with 2 hands. So feel free to poke around and play with bots, play with your friends, or even strangers in that room up there. And we'll go up there in a little bit. Here's the exercise room. There are 5 different exercises you can do to build your skills. We're going to focus on Charleston practice. Incidentally, they do have a lot of videos and tutorials here, so you can watch those to learn how to use all these tools. We're going to make the most of our time together and go right into Charleston practice. So we're going to use this tool to we'll do maybe 2 Charleston modeling exercises. They call it Charleston practice. I call it Charleston modeling. And this is just where we focus on decision making during the Charleston, because you never know what kind of passes you're going to get. This is a way to desensitize you from the anxiety of getting wacky passes. So let's see what we have to start with here. This will be interesting. We have a flower, a west, a south, and a red dragon. Then we have a 2-7 in bams, 2-6-7 in cracks, pair 6, pair 7, and we have a 1 dot, 6 dot, 9 dot. If these were your tiles, what category would you focus on? We're not even going to pick a hand. We don't even need to look because we've got tiles here that can't be used together, so we don't need to pick a hand. The only time you need to pick a hand is when you have all keepers, and right now we've got discards. So what would you focus on if these were your tiles? Think about it. If you're watching the repost, just think about it. Maybe make a note about it on your smart device, or maybe write it in the comment section below. Hi, Karen. Consecutive run or any like numbers. So let's see. Wes, hello. Susan, 679. 679. There is a little bit of potential for consecutive run. We don't have an 8 though, but we do have tiles we can pass. So we could just keep the big numbers and see what comes in. I would say probably consecutive run because pair 6-7. We could leverage 6-7 pairs. So I would then look for clear discards. Clear discards would be the 1 dot, probably this, let's say the 2 crack, and maybe the south. 1 dot, 2 crack, south. So right now we're looking at 6-7 of some kind. And I wouldn't say 6, 7, 8, 9 yet. I would wait to see if a 5 comes in, because then we can do 5, 6, 7 and take that range downward where we have more flexibility. So let's see what happens with this pass. We did get an 8 and a 7. So now that there's no gaps, 6, 7, 8, 9, we're going to go up. And we do have tiles we can pass. I think I would let the west go here. So 1, 2, west. And we still don't need to pick a hand because we have discards. So now we have a 1 that we clearly don't need. We could let's say, the east go, and then the red dragon. I would let the red dragon go, even though we could do something with 6, 7 dragon. We have no 5 and we have no 8. No 5, and we would need the 8 probably here. I suppose a 5 or an 8 would do here, but we have neither. Let's see what else we could do. If we were to keep that, someone might say, well, why not pass the south? This would be almost as risky as passing a pair. Not quite, but close enough. I typically don't pass 2 wins. I'd be okay with passing the dragon, but if we get a 5 or an 8, we might be able to use that red dragon. And here's the thing about that. Anytime that you're looking at your hand and you say to yourself, I wish I had blank, or if I get blank, or I hope. There it is, the hope. If you ever say hope or if, that's going to be a long shot. And it should be either off the table as an option or at the very bottom of the list. It's super weak. We have a gap, basically. So anytime you have a gap, you should either take it off the table as an option or just make it super low because it's really weak. You don't want to play a weak hand. Instead, we would want to look for an option where you have no gaps. So an example of that would be the second hand down on the right, 6, 7 crack, 8, 9 dot. There would be no gaps for that particular hand. It's a little early to pick a hand because we have no discards, but if we have a risky tile and all keepers. So we have a 6, 8 in dots, 6, 7 in cracks, a 7 bam, the 8, 9 in dots. These really are all keepers. Even the flower we might be able to use. So the only tile that we clearly don't need is the south, but that would create a risky pass. So that puts me at a place where I want to decide if I want to sacrifice a keeper, and I would sacrifice a tile here. Probably what I would let go of is the 7 bam, or the 6 dot, either the 6 dot or the 7 bam, one or the other. Maybe the 6 dot would be best for a couple of reasons. One, the 1 bam is up there, so a 1, 7 and 1 suit is a little risky. Also, the pung of 7s plus a 7 bam, we might be able to switch to like numbers with 7s, and a pung weighs heavier than a pair. So by letting the 6 go, I think that would be the best keeper to let go of. So we're sacrificing a 6 dot, which is fine. You're going to be doing that. The other thing I was thinking is maybe we could play the concealed hand. We have 6, 7 pair pung, a 6, 8. Let's say if we get a 7 dot, we might be able to, and an 8 crack, we might be able to play the concealed hand, but we use the word if. That makes it a long shot. So no, we're not going to focus there. We have a hand with no gaps, second hand down on the right. So let's go forward and see what we get. We got a 5. 5, that's really not helpful. Here's a pair. Anytime you develop a pair or another multiple, even if it's like a pung or something like that, you want to just reassess. So with this south, it's really not helpful because we have no north. And whenever you have a south, you really need a north in here for the hands on this year's card. There's really not much we can do with a south. Although we could maybe play the second quint, but we have no jokers. That would be a big gap. No jokers. I don't think I would play a quint here. what we could do is sacrifice keepers. So we're going to keep going, definitely. Let's continue. And we're going to pass this time the 1. We clearly don't need the 1. And then we're going to look at more clear discards, the 5 dot. We do not need that tile. 5 to 8, way too big of a gap. 5 dot, 6, 7, we have no 4. So that 5 dot is useless. Then we have to decide between the 7, bam, and the red dragon. I think I would let the red dragon go because we have no 5 and no 8. So that's a gap. At this point, we do have some potential for the quint. Quint with no jokers is my signature move. So we're going to see what happens. We got a 9 dot. 9 dot. Now we have 6, 7 pair pung, 8 dot, 9 dot, 9 dot pair. That second hand down looks really good to me. So I would focus on it and give up on the idea of the quint. We have 3 clear discards. If we let go of the idea of the quint, we could even let the winds go. So let's pass maybe 1, 7 south. Okay, so now we have south 9, let's say 4. That's a great pass. Okay, here, no keepers. We can pass 3. Let's do the west. We clearly don't need that. We clearly don't need the dragon. Now we choose. I think I would let the 6 dot go because the green dragon corresponds with 5, 8. Okay, we have 5. Well, actually, we have 6 discards. So we would be an underdog for this hand. If you have more than 4 discards after the Charleston, you're an underdog. So you just want to take a low risk in the game until you have a stronger hand. But we do have a hand with no gaps. 6, 7, 8, 9, second hand down on the right. I think that was a good result, even though we're an underdog. Any thoughts on that? I don't think we straddled too much on that. We thought about like numbers, but that straddle wasn't long at all. We had a pretty clear idea that we were going to play consecutive run because of the 6, 7. The multiples are the strength of the hand. If you start with multiples, target the multiple because you're going to need them. Every hand on the card requires them. So start with the end in mind. If you've got multiples, target the multiple. Choose a category that uses most of your tiles. That is how to master American Mah Jongg. If you adopt that one tactic, and you're not doing that yet, that can change the way you play this game for the better. I guarantee it. So let's do this one more time. Let's see what we have now. This will be interesting. We've got a tough start with this one because we have multiples that don't go together. We have a joker, which is nice. Then we have a west pair, red dragon, white dragon, 3, 5, 8 in bams, 1, 4, 8 in cracks with a pair of ones, 7, 8 in dots. If these were your tiles, what category would you focus on? If this were my hand, I would target the 1 crack pair. We're actually going to do this one 2 times because we do have a lot of 3, 4, 5. There's 3, 5 and a 1, 5. We have winds and dragons. We could maybe even do it 2 more times. Focus on dragons and focus on 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. But this first time we're going to target the 1 crack pair because that is a multiple. And if you start with the end in mind, we want to target that. We might be able to do a little odd hand. Here's a 3, 5 and another 5. Little odds. Yep, that's what I would do too. So for the first one, we're going to do little odds. And I'm going to start a note here because I want to track our results. So we're going to actually, let me open Word, or let's see here. I think I have a spreadsheet here. Let me see here. I think I have a template already. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna, let's see. Hold on one second. Maybe I'll do this real quick. Let's see if I made one before. No. Let me search for Charleston. If not, I'll just make one. It doesn't take long. Okay, so nothing's coming up. I'm just gonna make one. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Let me make it big so you can see how I would do it. And tracking the results of your Charleston effort is a really good idea because you can see the progression of your decision-making skills. So we could say so we have, what is your category focus, let's say. Or let's do plan A, maybe plan B, and then maybe we could say the results, and then maybe notes. So let's start there and just see what happens. Okay, so plan A is little odds. We could maybe also do, let's see here. We could also do 3, 4, 5. Consecutive, I'm just going to do, we'll do consecutive, I'll just type it out. Consecutive run 3, 4, 5. Okay. Since we have a plan C, let's just get rid of that category. Okay, there we go. So consecutive run 3, 4, 5. And then we could also play Winds and Dragons. Maybe the concealed hand. One hand right now we'd qualify for one hand, really, the concealed hand. So that would be is that number 8, 6? Yeah, 8. Okay. So, and I would not pick a hand for any of the others, but clearly in Winds and Dragons, yeah, Winds and Dragons number 8. So we're going to start with little odds. I think that's the strongest option because we have a pair of ones. Then we're going to try consecutive run 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to try Winds and Dragons number 8. So we're just going to cover that up and let's see what happens with little odds. We might be able to use one wind for news with little odds. Third hand from the bottom on the left. Oh, okay. So now we pass. So let's let the West go with a 7 and an 8. 7, 8. Yeah, I want to get rid of one of the 8s because I don't want to be left with like numbers. Okay, we got a 5. Now we can let let's say we can let 4. Oh, no, we have a dragon in here. Let's let the white dragon go. We might be able to even switch to like numbers here, but we could, or a year hand even, because now we have a pair of 5s in there. But there's a hand 1, 3, 5 dragon, third hand down. Maybe we should keep that red dragon. And then we could let go of, let's say, the 8 and the 4. 8, 4, white. And that leaves us with a 6, 9. A 6, 9. That's not too bad. Okay, so let's see what we get. Well, look at that. A red dragon and a 1. Okay, and we can pass. We have tiles right here, 6, 8, 9. It's a little bit risky. Since we haven't gotten any wins, I'd let it go and not pass 8, 9. I would pass 6, 9 west and maybe mitigate the risk a little bit. Okay, so now we have a 2. So there's a 1, 2. And again, we're not picking a hand, we're gathering. Here's 3, 8, 9. That's a little bit risky. I would definitely keep going. So here we're straddling. We could maybe do a 1, 2, 3 of some kind. Here's even a 3. 1, 2, 3 of some kind. We could do 1, 3, 5 of some kind. We could even do like numbers. So we're definitely straddling. We have 2 clear discards that are a bit risky. So with these tiles, this 2, I think, is useless without a 3, 4, or really without a 4. 3, 4 of some, maybe one suit or one of these other suits. We don't have that. So I would let it go. And then I would look at the rest of these tiles. I think with what we have here, I'm thinking 1, 3, 5 dragon looks pretty good, even though we have a gap, no 3 crack. We could use that joker there. So I think I would keep going past the 2 and the 9, and then I would consider sacrificing a tile so we don't pass 8, 9. And I believe we gave them a 6, 9. Didn't we just give them a west 6, 9? I don't remember. Let's see. So what should we let go of here? Red dragon, gap hand. We could play either way we do, regardless of how we do this, we're playing a gap hand. So I think maybe the 3 dot can go, but you know what? That's just as risky as the 8. Let's keep the 3 and pass the 8. Okay, so now we have a 5 and a 4. Okay, so here's a 4. We have 1 clear discard. Now we have technically all keepers. We have a 4, 5, a 3, 3, 5, 3 dragon, 4, 5, no 2, 3. I'm thinking the 4 can go and maybe the 3 dot. So we're sacrificing 2 potential keepers. 6, 9 west. I think that's what we gave this player on the left. So we can pass those and not even have to think about our hand. Here's a 3, 4, 5. That's unexpected. Not helpful either because we don't have anything to go with it. I'd pass fully right here. Okay, so we did get the 2 back and we have a 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 5. We could either do little odds or 1, 2, 3 of some kind. We're clearly an underdog. Okay, let's pull up our spreadsheet. So the results were in between. Little odds, and I'd say probably number 3 or consecutive run 1, 2, 3 of some kind. Let's put here position. We're an underdog. Okay, now, so little odds. We leveraged the pair of 1 cracks and we ended up in between little odds and consecutive runs. So we stayed with little odds, but it really didn't develop very well. So let's do it again. And instead of targeting the multiple, let's target the predominant pattern, which is 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go back here and we're going to focus on 3, 4, 5. So we're going to do replay with the same tiles and we're going to sort and we're going to hold 3, 4, 5. And I think we have so many discards, we can hold the 1 just in case the 2, 3 crack come in. You never know. So let's just hold the 1 because it is a multiple, and we might be able to do 1 through 5. Now we can let the west go, the 7 and an 8. West 7, 8, or maybe what we could do is let one of these dragons go. 8 red, then that leaves us 7, 8 west for the next pass. This is not as risky as this. Okay, so we have a 6 and a 3, and look, there's a pair of 8s. A pair of 8s developed. We're gonna sort and reassess. Anytime a new multiple forms, reassess. We have an 8-band pair, and we have a 1 crack pair. The 1 crack pair is useless without the right 3. We have no 3 crack. What I do see in here is a potential for 5, 6, 7, 8. So instead of 3, 4, 5, 6, we could do 5, 6, 7, 8, leveraging the 8-band. So let's see if that comes in. 5, 6, let's see, not the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of some kind. We're not going to look at the card. We're not going to even think about what hand we're going to play. We're just going to gather 5, 6, 7, 8 of some kind. We're going to gather every suit we can with those number tiles. So let's pass the west. Let's break up the 1, and we'll pass a 3. Here we go. An 8 came in and a 9. And we still have tiles we can pass, so we don't need to pick a hand. Let's do 1, 3, or yeah, because we let a 5 go. I don't remember who we gave this 4 to another player. Maybe we could do 1, 4 west or 1, 4 south, or maybe what we could do is do 1 white dragon. Let's do that. Okay, so now a 3 came in. Oh, stinker. And a 5. Okay, we should reassess. We've got 2 new multiples. So we have 3, 5, and a 5. I still think 5, 6, 7, 8, or 6, 7, 8, 9 is much stronger. I'd keep going, and I'd break up the 3. So we're going to try to do some kind of 5, 6, 7, 8, or 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there's a 9. And we have 2 clear discards. I would not pass like numbers, so I would let something go. Probably this 5-band. We have a 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6 crack, 7, 8 dot. Second hand down on the right. It'd be nice if we can get a 7-band, because then we can leverage that pair. Let's let the 5-band go. An 8 dot came in. And we do have tiles we can pass, but that is really risky. Okay, so here's another thing that we have. 5, 6 crack, 7, 8 dot. We really don't need that 9 dot. So we could maybe keep the 1 and pass the 9. That's not too bad. A 5. And we have tiles we can pass. I'd pass 3, break up the 1, and let the 9 go. Oh, look, 4, 5. 4, 5, not really helpful, but it is in our range. 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'd let it go. But look at our results here. 4 discards. We have a pair we don't need. So we're an underdog again. Why are we getting such difficult tiles? So we have consecutive run number 2-2. And we have 6 discards. Oh, yes, I forgot to document. We were in between so many different hands. We had numerous discards. So, discards. Numerous. Here we have 6. 6 discards. We're an underdog. Okay, so now we're going to do Winds and Dragons number 8 now. So let's do the same tiles, and we're going to try to leverage the pair of winds. So let's break up the 1, and then let's break out these 8s. And next we'll break out the 5s because we've got like numbers with 8s and like numbers with 5s. Okay, we didn't get any keepers. There's a 5 crack. Let's pass, let's do 3, 6 here, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's pass the 1, the 5, and let's say actually, let's do a 3 with an 8 because we need to consider our passes. Mean bots, yeah. Okay, look, we got a wind. Let's keep it. We got to hoard the winds. Okay, here's 2, 4, 5, 6. Let's try to break out the like numbers here. How about 2, 3, 5? One of each suit. Okay, there's another south. And we definitely have tiles we can pass. So we have a 9 over there. Let's do a 4 with a 6. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, we did not get any keepers that time. We can pass 9, 4 with a 1. That's not bad. No keepers. Okay, let's do an 8 with a 1 and a 3. That's a great pass. Okay, no keepers. Let's pass 3. We'll do 1. Let's do, this is getting a little bit risky here with our passes. We ended up with 3, 4, 5. Why didn't we get that in the first go round? It's because we changed the chain reaction. Okay, so let's pass the 4 and a 5. Or maybe a 3, 4. Kind of keep it on the down low. Okay, no keepers. And look at these discards. Yikes. We have 7 discards. So that was the worst of the bunch. Okay, so 7, underdog. So the results here is that this was the best option because we did have a hand with no gaps. We had we had a consecutive run option and a little odds option. So we had some flexibility. While we did have numerous discards because we're in between, we had lots of options. So that was the strongest choice. And this is a good result because it confirms that our instincts were correct. It was the best way to go with the tiles you have. And that's why this exercise is so powerful, because it can show you where you need to build your skills. We went with not like numbers, little odds because of that pair of 1s, and it turned out to be the best result. It had the best result. Okay, so now I'm going to open it up to the group. We have 20 minutes. So we could either do this again and not play with robots, or we could go ahead and play with robots and just do gameplay with commentary. So let me know what you would like to do. You would have held the 2 crack and tried for wins with the year. Okay, well we could try that. Let's try wins 1, 2, 3, 7. Winds and Dragons number 7. Okay, let's see what we can do there. Does anybody want to let me know if you want to do, we're going to do this one more time and try out Michelle's idea. We're going to do wins maybe with a year. So we're going to keep 5s, the white and the west. And then after this, we'll see if we can squeeze in a speed round. I would still keep the dragon in case maybe the bottom hand comes in. So let's pass the 1 crack, the 4, and an 8. Let's do the 8 dot. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. Hold on. I forgot to share my screen. Okay, here are the tiles. I just put the 5s and the white dragon and the west over there. And then I passed a 1 crack, an 8 dot, and I think a 4 crack or something like that. Okay, so now we're going to pass the 1. We're going to break up this 8, and we'll pass one of the 3, let's say. Okay, we got another red dragon. And now let's pass the 3 with a 9 and an 8. Here we're left with 6, 7, 8. That's going to be super risky. Okay, here's a 5 crack. We're going to continue. 9, 4. Let's pass the 7. Or maybe the 6. I think it's 6, 1/2 dozen the other. Okay, here's a green dragon. And now we can do 7, 9. Ooh, risky, risky, risky here. Yikes. Dragons. Look at these dragons. We have no flower. I know somebody's going to want to play the second hand down. That would be extremely risky because we have a pair gap. I would not do that. So we either have to give up a 5 or give up or pass risky with an 8 in there. It's already a bit risky even if we pass a 5. So let's pass the 8. This is super risky. Okay, so no keepers. 1, 9, 4 can go. Okay, so here's a 5 and another 5. And then we could pass, really, no 2s ever came through in this instance with the chain reaction that was created here. West, dragon, 5s. I think I would play like numbers concealed gap hand. Let's just pass 2. Because we could still maybe play the concealed news hand. Here's a south. Okay, so let's write it out. We have wins number 7, but boy, oh boy, we have so many discards here. And no 2s. Oh, clearly we're an underdog in every which way. I would say we're closest to like numbers with 5s concealed, and we have a gap with no flowers. Um, 5 crack. What about the 5 crack? And that was a horrendous result. Horrendous. Let's see. I'm going to save this. We'll put this on the desktop so we don't have to do this again. We'll just call it Charleston modeling. Okay. Pass from a while back. Oh, pass the 5 crack. Let the 5 crack go. Okay, I think it's still, that was just one tile. I don't think it would have made much of a difference. I hate to sound like a negative Nelly, but I think this was it's actually not a really bad result, because if we get 1 flower, the hand is saved. We could even maybe play the first hand. Look at all that. I would let these go. 4 discards. Really, we have 6 discards if we play like numbers. 6 discards with a gap. And I would not play a year hand, not with these tiles. We have no 2. We have too many 5s. I mean, we could maybe play the concealed hand, but we have no 2s. We have no flowers. We could maybe play the first hand, but we have no 2s and we have no flowers. So while having a white dragon and a 5 is a good thing to think about the year, but if the tiles don't come in, I would just let it go. Okay, so now we're going to close here. I hope you found that helpful. Let's go ahead and play with robots now. And we're going to play with the advanced robots because they're not as aggressive as the intermediates. All right, here we go. We have flower, northwest, south, almost news. Then we have a white dragon, 1, 3, 8 in BAMs, 1 crack. And we have a 1 dot and then a 4 dot pair with 5, 6. If these were your tiles, what would you focus on? And I know what someone's going to do. I know it's going to happen. I absolutely know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to want to pick a hand. Target the 4 dot. That's what I would do. I would target the 4 dot. 4 dot. Target the 4 dot. So with the 4 dot, we could play some kind of 3, 4, 5, 6. So I would hold the 4 and I would hold the 5 and the 6. There we go. And here's a white dragon that corresponds. We have a hand in here with no gaps. And I thought somebody was going to say, play the 5th hand down under consecutive run, 4, 5, 6 dragon. We could maybe do that, but let's just see what comes in because that could change. Now, we do have like numbers with 1s here. We're going to break these out and then we're going to let wins go because we've got a solid run there. So let's let the north go. Okay, here's a 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. Second hand down on the left. Oh, look, a 1 dot pair came in. Okay, we're going to keep that. 1 dot pair. Maybe we'll get a 2, 3. That is a long shot because I said, oh, that's it. Maybe, if, and hope. Maybe, if, and hope. Those are the red flags. That means it's a long shot. We have tiles we can pass, though. Let's pass 1, 2. This 3 BAM probably will go. We have a dragon. That's not helpful. Let's pass 1, 6 south. We probably won't use that dragon. Okay, here's a 2 BAM. 1 crack. Oh, yeah. We've got lots of tiles to pass. Bummer. Okay, 9 dot. And it's a corresponding suit, but it doesn't help. Look, a pair of dragons came in. I would keep it. We've got tiles we can pass, so we don't need to pick a hand. Okay, and we have 2 clear discards. Now we have to let a keeper go. I think what I would do here, the dragons here, I would not pass 2 wins. I'd keep the white dragon for 4, 5, 6. We could even do 4, 5, 6 flower. This 1 dot pair is not helpful. Unless we get a 2, 3 dot, I'd let it go to pass safely. Okay, so now here's another 4. Maybe we could switch to like numbers. We have 4 discards in 2 hands, so we're straddling. Like numbers with 4s and dragons. Or maybe the even hand with dragons. Second hand from the bottom. Oh no, we have the wrong 4. We need a 4 crack to use the green dragon for the second hand from the bottom. Or we could play the concealed hand or maybe the first hand under like numbers. So we're in between. We have 4 discards and we're in between. That means we're an underdog. We've got too many options. So let's see what happens. Oh, we're still passing. Oh my gosh, I thought we were done. Now we're done. Okay, what did we get? 7, 8, 9. Oh, look, we have a pair of 7s now. 7, 8, 9. Let's just tuck everything in here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's way too big of a run. 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9. We have 1 clear discard. So let's let it go and see what happens. So we're probably playing maybe the third hand down, second hand down on the left, or the third hand down. I'd say probably the like number option is a goner. So I'd say consecutive run number 2 or 3-1. 3-1. Yeah, clearly we're not going to do anything there. Oh, look, we got a 6. So we could do 4, 5, 6 with a flower, maybe with a dragon. We could do 5, 6, 7 dragon, 6, 7, 8 dragon. Probably the 9 will go. Okay, let's let the 4 dot go, or 4 bam go.
4 bam. 6. 1.
Yeah, we don't need a 3 crack. So that can go. Now we have a flower. So with a pair of flowers, I would look at the flower hands. We could play the third hand down on the left or the fifth hand down. So these dragons can go. The green dragons can go, as pretty as they are. Okay, so that I would probably let go of now. Here's a 7 dot pung. So I would let the 4s go as well and focus on 5, 6, 7 dragon, or maybe 5, 6, 7 third hand down on the left. So we could maybe do 6, 7, 8, but there's an 8 dot out. We would need a joker. We could keep it as a option. I think what we should do is let the dragon go, because we could still do 4, 5, 6, but or even 4, 5, 6, 7 pung kong and let the flowers go. We could play the second hand down on the left. So there's 2 flowers out. If we play the third hand down, we need to Kong. Okay, we do not need that, but let's let the dragon go.
8. 6 bam. 4 dots.
Yeah, I would not do anything there. Oh my goodness, look, a 3. Let's let this 5 crack go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not good. We're going to let the 3, 4 go.
2 bam.
We're an underdog because we're still straddling. Here's a 6 dot pung. So probably to leverage the pung and the 2 pungs here, 4, 5, 6, 7, we could let the 3 go and not affect anything. I would consider playing 4, 5, 6, 7 and leverage these 2 pungs. We could also maybe play the flowers, 5, 6, 7 dragon, and let the 8 go. I think that 8 can go. And we can still straddle the third hand down and the fifth hand down. So the 5 dot would be a risk for us either way. And either way, we can Kong the 7. Okay, let's call. And we'll let the 8 go. So we're still in between. Third hand down, we could do 5, 6, 7. We'd have to sacrifice a 6 and the 4 dot pair. Or we could play 5, 6, 7, fifth hand down, which is risky because we need a pair of 5s. Ooh, jokers. Three bam north. We need 3 bam north. Ooh, 6 bam. Oh, that's locked in right here. Oh, dang it. Oh, bummer. Okay, so what are your thoughts? Does anybody have any questions about the game and about some of the choices that we made? These robots, they're formidable. Formidable opponents, these, did I call them jokers? Robots. Did I say robots or jokers? All right, I just want to remind you to check out the Learning Lab on Facebook if you use social media, of course. Type in Learning Lab hashtag MAHJLIFE and you will find it. It is a private group, so you can feel free to ask any questions in the safety of caring instructors who have been vetted to answer your questions there with tender, loving care. So please check that out and join us every Tuesday for the Learning Lab Player Edition. And we'll be back again on Thursday for the Learning Lab Instructor Edition, where we support instructors' questions. And those questions can be about the game itself, whether it be rules, strategies, skills, lessons, and then even running teaching practice. So if you're an instructor, please join us on Thursday from 1 to 2, same place. And that's Eastern time. Thank you, moderators, for helping monitor the chat today. I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. We'll see you again in the next live stream. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click that little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.